It's finally here, guys, the final round of my Steps to Success career mode, and we have development completed, surprisingly enough. And obviously the weather is completely clear because it's Abu Dhabi, and we are the sixth best team on the grid. Ferrari should be ahead of us because they're so slow. Charles just being amazing, getting P2 yesterday somehow, and yeah, everything's going to look good today. We're miles in the championship. I skipped a few races, otherwise I wouldn't have completed the championship, so I had to skip a few races, but this is the last round, and going into this final round, it looks like Lewis Hamilton will wrap it up unless he has a mad issue. But yeah, I'm not going to waste your time. Let's get into qualifying now. So here we are for the final time this season. We're on our qualifying lap now, and going into turn 1, it seems like we've done that pretty nicely. We've cut the curb nicely, and going through turn 2 now, it's obviously flat out, and also flat out through here. We want to take a lot of curbs there, and maybe go out a little bit on the bumps, but not too much that will unsettle the car. And going through the chicane now, the first chicane, I've got a little bit too much on the curb. It unsettled the car quite a lot. And then going for the hairpin seemed okay. Now we're going to go down the straight, get a little bit squirrely on the exit, and now we're going to move into the final sector, and now into the final corner, and pretty nicely done, and get no wheel spin, and that is P7 for our Williams.
With qualifying finished, it's time to remind ourselves of our top 3. Verstappen, Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas. With qualifying complete, all that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
So Max Verstappen gets one of his first pole positions in Formula 1. Lewis Hamilton P2, Bottas P3, Vettel P4, Leclerc P5, Albon P6. We get P7, and our teammate doing a really good job in P13. Kimi Raikkonen behind in the Haas, looking pretty good at this track. And let's see if the top guys have some penalties. And we've also got Giovinazzi last, which isn't great for him. It doesn't seem like the Alfa Romeo have quite performed at the end of the season. But we're going to move on to the race now. Let's see what we can do here in the final time in Abu Dhabi.
So here we are, ready to go racing for one final time this year. Another season of victories, controversies and rivalries lies in our wake. And just one challenge remains here in the United Arab Emirates on a circuit that made its spectacular debut back in 2009. Welcome to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. The drivers will be racing here at the Yas Island circuit through 21 corners and a lap distance of around 3.4 miles. There are a few opportunities to pass, with long straights and DRS zones in 2 places, turns 8 and 11. Plenty of close racing then, plenty of speed, and plenty of drama to be found in the laps ahead. Anthony Davidson is here once again for today's Grand Prix. Now, can I talk to you about Sebastian Vettel? There's a new gearbox in the back of that car, which means a grid penalty, and hopefully some excitement as they make their way through the field.
Fingers crossed that's one failure they won't have to worry about today at least. There's not much of a silver lining to starting down the field with a penalty, but I think they'll be able to make some of that back up over the course of the race.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he starts from pole position. And Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Leclerc, Stevens and Magnussen. Vettel, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Perez, Hülkenberg and Alexander Albon. Ricciardo, Russell, Lando Norris and Sainz. Gasly, Kvyat, Roman Grosjean and Kimi Raikkonen. Stroll and Antonio Giovinazzi starts from the back of the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
It's been a long season, but let's try to end it on a high note.
So we're here for the Grand Prix. It's going to be an easy one-stop strategy from soft to mediums. We're going to lower the fuel a little bit for the correct amount of fuel for this Grand Prix. I did do a few league races here a couple of days ago now. It was on Saturday. Go watch out on online Formula Racing. But I did perform pretty well for my first return back to league racing, and we're going to start the race now. We've got 2 lights, we've got 3 lights, we've got 4 lights, we've got 5 lights. It's lights out, and away we go. We're getting monster start there. We're going to eat up Leclerc's lead on us at this moment in time. Leclerc going into turn 1, trying to get Bottas, and now Magnussen's up the inside. We might have to let him through. Going through turn 2 now. He pushes us a bit wide onto the blue stuff. You don't want to be out there. A lot of degradation through there. Magnussen gets past. Now we're going into the first chicane. We go really wide and we get some really chronic understeer. And now we're going to go for the hairpin. And it doesn't seem like we've got too bad of a line through there. But we stay in first gear, which is going to affect our traction on the exit. And we do get a little bit of wheel spin. Not quite enough to cause a lot of time lost to the car behind. Vettel's already behind us actually. I don't know if you've started P7, but that's pretty good from him so far. Magnussen's up ahead now. We're going to need to try and get past him, and we should be past him in the next couple of laps. We're going to move on to lap 2 now, and we're going through the final couple of corners. We go very, very wide, and I think we might have picked up a little bit of front wing damage. I'm not 100% sure. Only tiny bit, just like light green, and it will affect us a lot as Sebastian Vettel tries to go down the inside, and he does. He completes the move, and now we're going to have to follow him in dirty air. So he seems like he's got really good pace, and he'll be past Magnussen in a minute maybe because of how good his pace is. But we are going to get DRS down the back straight. It is lap 3, and DRS is now enabled. If we can stay within the 1 second window, which we have done, so we're going to get it. We're going to get the DRS on Vettel. And looking at the Ferrari engine, it hasn't looked too strong towards this end of the season. So we're going to open up DRS and look at Vettel. He's such a sitting duck down this back straight. We're going to go for the inside line, and we're going to brake later about 125 metres. And we're going to push him a little bit wide onto the curb. But it seems like we've got that done really cleanly. And we're back up into P6, where we should be. And now catching Magnussen again. We need to try and catch up to him in the next couple of laps. Otherwise he'll clear off, and then that will be the end of us trying to achieve P5. But Vettel is looking menacing at the back. We are going to move on to lap 4 now, and we're going to get DRS on Magnussen. And it looks like we've got a yellow flag in sector 1. It's Pierre Gasly who is out of the Grand Prix, and we're going to get a virtual safety car. And we're going to have to slow right down the back straight. So we need to keep within the delta, and the delta should be green at the moment. And we're going to go into the chicane, but we can brake a bit later because the delta is about 2 seconds up from previously. And virtual safety cars are now ending, and we need to quite nail this. And it looks like we got it within a tenth. And now Magnussen, he's still quite far ahead, but we should be able to keep attacking him. And now we should be able to attack him on lap 5. But this middle sector is quite poor for us, to be honest. We get a lot of lockups through, especially through these long right-handers, the braking zone. But we are going to move on to lap 5. We're going to get DRS is now open. We're putting up to rich mix and overtake mode, and we're going to try and gain. Are we going to go for the inside line? We're going to try and brake late, but it doesn't look like we've broke quite enough. And yeah, it looks like he's going to stay ahead for this. But we're going to go down the second back straight, and DRS is back open again. Rich mix. Overtake. We're going to go for the outside line. He's going to try and brake later, but it just doesn't work out for him, and we get into P5, and that is good. But we get a big mistake through there, and that is pretty bad from us. But we do stay ahead, surprisingly enough. Now we're going to move on to lap 6, where this is our pit window. So we're going to pit in this lap, along with Vettel, who actually got past Magnussen on the previous lap. We only just about made it. We could have crashed into the wall there. We're going to enter the pits now, and yeah, hopefully we can have a really good pit stop now. Stay ahead of Vettel, because that's our main rival in this Grand Prix. It might sound a bit ridiculous in a Williams to be contending with Ferrari, except from if you're in 2020. Yep, and we're going to leave the pit lane, and we're still ahead of Vettel. And it seems like going through the tunnel now, where you can hear the echoes of the roaring engines, and we're going to stay ahead of Vettel. And let's see if we can get Grosjean, actually, who might actually get ahead of Vettel, and it seems like he has. Grosjean is going to split between me and Vettel, so we're going to stay ahead of him for the next few corners. But I think Grosjean might just be a little bit too slow in that Alfa Romeo. to stay ahead of Vettel down the back straight. But this is still going to be a good chance for us to stay ahead of Vettel for a couple more laps, if not the whole Grand Prix. And we're going to cross the line now, and let's see how many cars we can gain on. We're already into P5 now, and Albon's actually overtaken everyone, and our teammate's not looking too bad here. So we can still salvage this, and as we go really wide and we go all the way on the curb, and that is really dangerous, especially to the likes of the gearbox that is underneath there. And as we see from Austria yesterday, it can cause a lot of gearbox damage. I don't know if Mercedes just made that up to create some fake drama, but it cost Lewis Hamilton a few places, although that was just a collision where he was being a little bit stupid with Albon. And we're going to move on to lap 10, where we're going to set the quickest lap of the Grand Prix, and that's not a bad lap at all. Of 37 on mediums is really good, actually, for me anyway. I haven't really practiced much, as I told you, just did a few league races here recently, but I haven't played it for a couple of days, and it seems like we're settling in quite nicely and taking all these curbs. I shouldn't have really taken that curb, as you can see it was pushing me a little bit wide, especially on the exit of the chicane, and it seems like we're getting quite comfortable, and we're actually matching Vettel at the moment, so he will not be able to catch us. He's sort of like a neutral racer where he's not catching us, we're not falling behind, he's not falling behind at all either. And crossing the line on lap 12, it seems like we're doing a really good job, and the gap's 1.3 at the moment, and doesn't look like it's changing that much, to be honest. It's maybe changed a couple of tenths in the last couple of laps, but really not affecting us too much. Now we're going to go through the chicane now, and it seems like, yeah, we're just taking a lot of curbs. That was a little bit more well done, let's say, but we are going to move on to the last lap of the Grand Prix, going for the hairpin now. Vettel will actually get DRS on us for this last straight. We're going to have rich mix, we've got enough ERS to survive another country mile. And he's gaining on us, though. He's gaining on us. He's going to try around the outside, and he's actually braking later than us. But we are going to push him off wide, not giving him any space at all. We're trying to defend this position for the finale, no doubt. And we're obviously going to upload F1 2020. I should be doing about 2, 3, maybe even 4 videos tomorrow on the game. And I'm so hyped for the for the game to come out. We're going to be doing a HRT career mode, even though pesky old Into the Barrier stole my idea. But we're going to ignore that for now. But we're going to come through the final corner for the final time this season. It's been a great year for Williams Racing, as they are returning back to pace. 4th place, best of the rest.
Great work this year, really great work. It's been hard at times, but we've come through.
And so the celebrations begin, and well earned they are indeed. It may have looked simple at times, but as any racing driver will tell you, competing at this level, at the very top, is anything but simple. There's no catching them now then. We have a new World Drivers' Champion. It was a magnificent race and a drive right out of the top draw to take the win for Red Bull today. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
So let's review the updated driver standings. This also means that there's no catching our leader anymore, and we crown a new World Drivers' Champion. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
Max Verstappen seemed to just effortlessly weave through the other drivers today without a care in the world. He was definitely my driver of choice.
It's another clear win for Mercedes as they managed to secure the Constructors' title. An incredible performance for the whole team. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
So this is the final result for the last race of Steps to Success in F1 2019. Max Verstappen gets the win, Lewis Hamilton P2, Bottas P3. We get P5, just behind Leclerc and ahead of Vettel. Albon getting a pretty bad result after a Gura penalty, Magnussen P8, Hulkenberg P9, and our teammate just about missing out on the points for the final race of the season. Disappointing that he didn't score any points at all for the team, and we scored about 100, but you know, things happen like that, and we can accept it. He's a rookie. He makes mistakes. He's done all of that, but hopefully we can see him again in F1 2020 when this series returns. And we're going to see the standings now. Lewis Hamilton takes home the trophy and the championship at his 7th world title. Bottas P2, Vettel P3, Leclerc P4, Verstappen P5, Albon P6. We get P7, a great year for us. Perez P8, Raikkonen P9 after switching teams mid-season, and Hulkenberg, the final person in the top 10. Our teammate overtakes someone, so he's not last, he's second to last, and he's matching Antonio Giovinazzi. And as you can see, Mercedes AMG Petronas gets P1 in the championship, Ferrari P2. But if you guys did enjoy the whole series on F1 2019, press the like button, subscribe for new F1 2020 content, and I'll see you guys tomorrow when the game comes out. Goodbye guys, for the final time.